grand finals with Leeds, 2007 and 2008. Ben Thaler is the match referee. We're just about ready to go. The rain is falling. It is unabated for the last hour and a half or so. It's going to be Joe Westerman who gets this game in progress. Remember, it's the elimination playoff. There is no second chance on offer tonight. None whatsoever. And the first tackle taken is by Julien Busquets. And he will get to his feet and play it to Henderson. Here comes the big man, Remy Castille.
Well, the big men, they will have to control this game. As I mentioned before the kick-off, Eddie, it is so important. Just get through your basics. It is not a night for all that skill factor, which is a shame because there's so much wonderful talent out there. But it's going to be roll up the sleeves and this sort of thing, the kicking game.
And the way that ball shot up the turf into the arms of Jamie Shaw. The kick downfield from Thomas Bosk. He is grounded by the tackling. And here come the black and whites now. First time that they have had the ball in hand, obviously. Tom Briscoe is the man who goes down under the challenge of those three. Danny Houghton gets the ball away. Solid defence needed from Busquets and Remy Castille as well. Houghton will be at dummy half and will receive the ball from the play the ball by Paul Johnson. And that's Danny Tickle.
Yeah, good work as well. Short work by the hooker, Danny Houghton. He's certainly controlling that. That short, flat pass is getting the black and whites over the advantage line. Peter Gentle knows it's not going to be an easy night.
Jacob Miller with the kick. He was taken a little bit late after the kick had gone. It was Henderson, and there's a bit of a discussion on the ground between Henderson and Jacob Miller, and then Henderson got one for his corner as one of the Hull players was retreating into the defensive line.
Yeah, give him a right hook. Boy, Miller, well, he was committed. It was high, could have been a penalty perhaps. But Henderson, on his way back, trying to get himself into the line, got a right cuff.
I spoke about the referee pre-game and how important I think he's going to be tonight. I just don't think any side can afford to take a chance. It is going to be a little bit tense because it's straight knockout, and you know, and you look at the way the French have moved that ball a little bit wider on the opening first sets. They just look like they've got something a little bit different up the sleeve tonight.
They're running it this time, and the pass from Brent Webb. There was a scream of forward from the far side where the Hull FC fans are amassed, but nothing forthcoming. So here comes young Jamie Shaw again. Let's go down to Bill. Early news.
Eddie, already they're having kittens on the Catalan sideline. Jérôme Guisset, when Frédéric Vacary flirted with this touchline a moment ago, he was immediately signalling to him, don't go anywhere near the whitewash, because he was dangerously close to just sliding over it. The pitch is absolutely sodden, the rain is still falling, and the message to the Dragons players was keep it in the middle of the field.
That's where it is right now, and Danny Houghton from dummy half gets a kick away. It will evade Brent Webb. It would have been a 40-20 had it made it to the 40-20, the touchline rather, but Webb will run the ball back, but it's a good chase from the black and whites.
It was a great kick as well by Danny Houghton. Didn't mess around, kicked early, kicked on the third, and that's going to be the key factor. Keep this French outfit way down in their own red zone.
I've watched Brent Webb play for several years since he came over to join the Super League competition. He has been one of the world's best fullbacks, but I'd have to say his performance last week against Warrington was one of the worst of his career. I've no doubt, Eddie, that a player as good as him will perform better tonight, and I guess he's wanting to get involved here early in the game to be the inspirational spark for the Catalan Dragons tonight.
Well, it's his 5th game in a row. He has had 5 months out, injured at Warrington in February, Brent Webb. And of course back in the side, which means that one of the brightest young things in the competition, Morgan Escaré, is now no longer in the Catalan side. That's a wonderful kick.
Certainly was. Wonderful boot there from Leon Price. A lot of people suggesting that without Scott Durrell they can not win here tonight at the KC. But I tell you what, they've got the experience in Leon Price, Thomas Boss. Well, was that over the horizontal? It certainly looked it.
Well, it was. Jason Crooks managed to prevent his neck or upper shoulders going into the ground. That's good news for him.
You said what a great kick it was, Eddie. There's the high tackle here where he's almost upended. But what about the return from Jamie Shaw, the fullback? I mean, don't forget, he picked up the ball in his own goal area, got over the 20-metre line, and all of the momentum that Hull have had has come as a result of the run he put in.
This isn't a bad kick either from Daniel Holsworth, but Brent Webb is underneath it, although he did fall as he took it. And Houghton is the first man with Ellis to reach him.
Yeah, no real pressure applied, apart from the fact that you could see the driving rain into his face. Discipline also will play a key part tonight. Give away a silly penalty, 30, 40 metres downfield. Just get yourself, because it's going to be a struggle for both sides to get anywhere near the opposition line to be able to put on a set pattern move.
Well, Wembley was a major disappointment for the Black and Whites. Can they now make up for that with a good run in this year's playoffs? Here's another good kick from Leon Price. Again, a high bounce over the head of Jamie Shaw, and young Jamie will try and run this back again, just as keen as he did the last one, and he was nearly through. Menzies getting to him, and by the looks of things, Vakary is struggling a bit on this left wing for the Catalan Dragons. That's an early blow for them.
I think that came about, Eddie, when he remembered on the last tackle, he had to put the kick in. It was a wasted kick in many ways. I think he might have pulled something.
And it would be a major blow for the Catalan Dragons, because they have got 4 forwards sitting on the bench and waiting to come into the action if needed. So they'd be a little bit short in the backs if Vakary cannot carry on. But he's battling away at the moment. And Houghton with the kick down the middle, which is picked up and returned by Brent Webb immediately, only as far as Holsworth.
And another good kick, understanding kick as well by Danny Houghton. These are the tactics by Peter Gentle. No doubt in my mind, they're going to just kick downfield, make sure that the ball keeps within the field area, plus the chase is excellent.
Damien Blanche will try and run the ball away.
Early stages, but you just look at the game plan from Hull FC, and you're absolutely right, Mike. They've virtually played in the middle channel. Although the ball's been returned by fullbacks and wingers to the outside edge, they've straight away taken the ball back right into the middle channels, which means your pack of forwards are doing an awful lot of work carrying the ball, but conversely, the defence, their same players are doing an awful lot of defence. One or two of the French players, or the Catalan players, shall I say, just looking a little bit heavy then walking back, and we're still very early on in the game. It's a question for me is, who can keep doing that for the longest?
Another good kick that was from Leon Price. It crashed into the guards around the bottom of the posts. Danny Tickle can't get away from those two.
In these conditions, Eddie, it's obvious that the centres and the wingmen will get very, very little passing. They'll get plenty of work to do with the kick and chase going back. But it's just not that night for quick hands.
You have to be impressed, though. We're almost 8 minutes into this game. That's the first handling error. I guess it's an offload. It wasn't even a drop ball. But with the focus and determination of these two sides, no, there is no second chance. The holiday starts next week if they don't win tonight. The concentration and control of the ball has been really impressive.
So the Catalan have the ball deep in Hull territory, and that is Busquets. And Henderson will wait at dummy half. He's got Muniz this way, but he goes right and finds Thomas Bosch. Good offload, and they're doing well at the moment, Catalan, with Henderson. And Henderson is halted on the 20-metre line. He will go down eventually. Bosch is the dummy half, and Henderson looks at the referee and is asking for a penalty. None forthcoming. Went with the kick in behind Tom Briscoe, and Briscoe manages to shuttle the ball dead. It's a goal line dropout. We saw plenty of these last night, didn't we?
Yeah, and we'll get plenty more and more. It's a very, very good kick through, but good position there by Tom Briscoe. And this is what you've got to get used to. As I say, they won't get many passes to wingers tonight, but that will be the order of the evening.
You could really see then the quality of Brent Webb. Just had a little look up, kick down the short side, left foot. Opportune that Catalan got the ball back, and he certainly wasn't going to waste the opportunity, was he? Just to turn the pressure. Let Hull FC drop out from under the sticks and see whether they can hold out for a couple of back-to-back sets.
Busquets carries it forward about 10 metres. That's Muniz. Here is Casti. And Casti goes down under the challenge from Danny Tickle. Witness bound, of course, next year. Webb, that's a good switch in the direction. He got it away to Duport. Long pass then from Price to Busquets again. He'll take it down the middle. He'll dump it back to Price somewhat easily. And here now is Elliot Whitehead, the man that they signed mid-season from the Bradford Bulls and in the playoffs in 2013. Down he goes on tackle number 3, 18 metres away from the line. It's Thomas Bosk again, gives it then to Muniz.
It's important now, Leon Price just puts himself into the picture here.
Henderson again. Bosk will slide the kick in. It's a good chase, and it's very well policed over the line there by Richard Horne. All the experience in the world from Richard Horne.
Had to be as well. Again, Bosk with the kick through. Bit of a late challenge, but I think it committed himself. But great work, Richard Horne. Got plenty of the experience.
Well, he made his 350th start for the Black and Whites against St Helens last week.
Hull's superb defence this year got them to a Challenge Cup final and has helped them to be a top 8 side at the end of the season. They're going to need all of that quality in defence here now to hold out the Dragons, because they do look hot in the opening quarter.
Elliot Whitehead will drive this in again. He gets as far as Watts. He puts him on his back. Johnson put him on the floor. Now Steve Menzies.
It's all about attitude as well, especially with the forwards in these conditions. Those who want to say, give me the ball, I want to do all that work, I want to help, that's a swinging arm by Human. Silly, silly play.
Actually, the penalty is given for not standing square at the play of the ball, but you're right, it was a swinging arm by Kirk Eamon.
Well, never any doubt about it. Human wasn't in the position, not standing square, but the swinging left arm.
First penalty of the match, and Thomas Bosk and the Catalan Dragons says we'll try and kick the points.
Doesn't surprise me. I think it'll come back into fashion. Last week in the first half, they had 2 penalties in a much easier position and then neglected to kick a goal. They went to score on those occasions. Tonight, they want to get the first points from the kick through Thomas Bosk.
Laurent Freixenou, the Catalan Dragons coach, they dropped from 4th to 7th in 2013. Their last win here came in 2008, 30 points to 18. Fakir and Elima among their try scorers. 2 men who are waiting their chances tonight off the bench.
It's also important as well that whilst this man is setting up for the attempted 2, that the players out on this left-hand side make sure that they follow up. It could hit the post, could ricochet. The opportunity is always there. Instead of just grabbing the 2, they could get the try as well.
Well, Thomas Bosk with this penalty. A slightly more difficult angle than the poor old Scott Giroud missed last week that would have brought us to Perpignan tonight. And he's missed with that one, the first attempt of the first penalty. So 0-0 it stays.
And that could be costly. And he knows it as well. Really wasn't all that difficult, apart from the fact that it is very, very damp out there. It is not a night for open rugby league football, and take the opportunities, because there won't be many coming.
That's a decent length on the 20-metre dropout. Back they come again with this big figure of Busquets. And he goes down 9 metres inside his own half on the first tackle. Webb was the dummy half. Casti will carry it over halfway for the Catalan Dragons.
And again, good tactics, quick play of the ball. You can see Henderson taking it through. It takes its toll out of the defensive side.
Only 1 win away from home in the last 6 for the Dragons. That was that narrow win, 23-22 at Bradford, thanks to Thomas Bosk's drop goal. Webb just pops it up again for Casti. And Watts helping to spring the trap. Henderson again comes down the left side. Leon Price, it's a nice delicate little chip to the in-goal area, and they're getting another goal line dropout as a result.
Good work by Crooks, got himself into a position.
Catalan Dragons, I think, being very, very smart. Again, opportune, and they're making the most of it. I don't think Hull FC have touched the ball since the knock-on 5 or 6 minutes ago, so they're being really tested now with their defensive efforts.
Paul, in your experience in the game, though, when a side have repeated goal line dropouts, do you think there's a period of time when the frustration starts to set in with the attackers?
Well, the psychology of our game fascinates us all, Phil, doesn't it? I thought earlier on when they had that penalty, for me, I would like to have seen the Catalan Dragons run that and put them under a little bit more pressure. You know, signals sent and signals received. You don't quite know how it's going to go. Hull might be thinking, well, they don't really fancy us. If we can just keep holding out and they turn the ball over, psychologically that will turn into our advantage.
Well, Hull at the moment being asked to do twice as much of the tackling as the Catalan Dragons here tonight. Such is the weight of possession that is coming at them. And they make their first change of the night. It's Busquets who comes off, and he looks like he might have a problem with the left arm, Julian Busquets. It's swap for swap, because Olivier Elmer is back out there now, but this meanwhile is Gregory Muniz, and he gets the ball away. And it is Elmer. He will pick it up, and he'll take it forward with Elmer. First time in the playoffs since 2009 with the balls for him.
Got to get that kick away, Bosk. He has done. Back on the inside. Great position. Wonderful work there by the youngster, Jamie Shaw.
Yes, Jamie Shaw. It was an angled kick that almost fooled everybody, but it didn't fool 21-year-old Jamie Shaw, who's just signed a new 2-year deal to stay here at the KC Stadium. Down to Bill with news on Busquets.
Well, it looks as though Julian Busquets went into the game with a bit of a shoulder problem, because the shirt came off when he got to the sidelines and revealed a great wad of padding on his left shoulder. So he's obviously gone into the game with that problem, and that last charge when he took the ball up from another restart has obviously done the damage. So he's out the game. Elmer returning to the side tonight into action.
It's a great kick and a wonderful take from Brent Webb. Holdsworth's boot and the safe hands of Webb in these conditions. Might have been a flop there called by Ben Thaler against Danny Tickle.
Well, he certainly went in late into it, but they're testing Brent Webb. And let's face it, over his career has been a wonderful attacking player, but he can be a little bit suspect under the high ball. But he's taken everything that's been asked of him tonight.
Well, there's clearly two parts to playing rugby league, defending and attacking. Hull have shown us, I think, Eddie, in the opening 15 minutes, they're well capable of defending repeatedly close to on try line. The test will come when they get possession, whether they're capable to put any points on the board.
Well, here they come now on the attack, and it's Elliot Whitehead, and he spins away from a couple of challenges. And Ellis did really well to stick to him there. Leon Price again from dummy half, gets it to Bosk, he'll chip it over the top, and will turn young Shaw around. And here now is Jason Crooks to return with interest. Good hit by Whitehead. He's lost the ball.
Is that a knock-on?
It is.
Yeah. As soon as you lost contact. Do you know, in these really, really awful wet conditions, I always question the fact the fullback, Jamie Shaw, got the possession. Why want to offload, run the risk?
Mike, because he's been hit 3 or 4 times so far, and if he wants to be effective for the next hour, he needs to avoid some contact and share the workload out with the other wingers. Otherwise, if he keeps returning that, he'll run out of energy.
And Jason Crooks looks like he's had a couple of bangs as well, 2 lovely black eyes.
But Phil, you've got to make sure you keep possession. You can't just give it away. Look at that. They're only 20 metres away from their own line, and they've coughed up it.
Regardless of your game plan, you can't keep doing that too often, can you? The French look like they're a little bit more adventurous to me. They do send some confusing signals, because they've offloaded the ball, they've moved the ball wide, they've run quickly from dummy half when it's presented, and yet when they had the pressure on, chose to kick it goal. I'm just not quite sure they know exactly what they're doing with that process. But in Ian Henderson, doesn't he make a difference? He's an absolute nuisance, whether he's got the ball or he's in defence.
Well, here he is now, the nuisance that is Henderson. He pops it up to Casti, who gives it then to Price. And here is Zeb Tyre. That's good defence from Richard Hall. Just have a look at the graphic that went through the bottom of the screen. 100% success completion rate for the Dragons. This is a chance for them once again. Vincent Duport playing the ball to Webb. He gets it away to Bosk. The big collision there, and the ball will now be turned over because that was the last tackle.
And good refereeing there by Ben Thaler, because none of the black and whites, the ball hit the man. Nobody made a move for it. A lot of people thought perhaps it could have been was that a shoulder charge? I think it is.
Well, only the 3rd penalty of the match, Stu Cummings, but is this a shoulder charge? Yes, it is. Gregory Muniz.
Without doubt. Yeah, the referee's looking for a rotation and the arm tucked in at the side, and there's a perfect example of it.
Well, made no attempt to lift the arms to get involved in the tackle.
And Paul Cullen loves that rule.
Well, you know, Eddie, we spoke about discipline, didn't we? You know, Gregory Muniz is a top-class player, vastly experienced. You know, he made no attempt whatsoever to get his arms around and effect a very, very good tackle. And I just do find that with the Catalan Dragons. They confuse me at times. You know, again, when you're looking to play a conservative game and play behind a kick game, you don't quite do it. They play adventurous and then play behind a conservative kicking game. I don't quite get it at times.
That's great work from the fullback. Launched himself into it. You know, Richard Whiting, he was tapping him on the back and saying, come on, quicker, play the ball.
Miller gives it to Holdsworth. Here's a chance for Hull at last with Danny Tickle. Yeah, the fact that Richard Whiting is out there now for the Black and Whites offers them more options. You think that's a poor kick from Miller. Straight to Steve Menzies. Oh, and he's lost it. And that's the zero tackle that will be called because Gareth Ellis has dropped on it. Now this is a chance. Here's Whiting.
Very much underrated, this guy. He comes off the bench. This is the incident. There was definitely an arm there. I think Tom Briscoe got the right arm, flicked it away, not seen by the official. But keep your eye on this Richard Whiting. He just gives it all every time he comes off the bench.
Westwood plays the ball. Here is Danny Tickle! And Catalan now being called on to be big in defence themselves. Tickle took a bang then. He played the ball though. Here is Holdsworth. Slides the kick in all on the ground looking for Shaw. And Steve Menzies comes to the rescue, just flicks the ball over the dead ball line.
I know it's absolutely pouring down and you do have to play behind your kicking game, but with both sides going to the kick, especially in the red zone, when you're in the opposition's own quarter, the moment one of the teams runs the ball tonight, I get the feeling they're going to score because everyone's coming in to cover the kick.
Well, it was great work in defence there by Brent Webb. It had to be as well, because it looked as though Danny Tickle was way over onto the line.
Problems here for Remy Casti, just having the ankle looked at and repaired. We had 12 goal line dropouts last night at Huddersfield against Wigan in conditions very similar to this. In the opening quarter of the game, we've had 4. And here comes the latest of them. This is a low scudder.
Yeah, and not a bad kick either. Chase is good, it's solid. Oh, he's lost it.
Dropped it on the first tackle, Josh Bowden. And it's a kick and chase, a kick and hope, because it's the free play.
Well, they won't even bother him sort of getting in second gear. Well, the error count we anticipated. You expect it in these conditions, but look at this. Why on earth do you try to run in with the ball carrying arm? What's wrong with using the other one to use your shoulder charge in it? Protect the ball.
Well, it's been a great first quarter for the French side. You know, look, they've made more metres, made a couple of breaks. The defence hasn't been as good. Hull's strongest feature is the fact they missed very few tackles, but you'd expect after that 20-minute period the French team to be in front by about a try and a goal. It isn't the case, primarily because Hull, as they did in the Cup this year, hang on when things get tough.
Yes, they do. They're dogged, aren't they, when it comes to knockout football. They went all the way to Wembley. It was a day similar to this, and well, they were nilled at Wembley. It's not happened too many times in the recent past. It's a bitter memory. It's a nightmare really for them, and Hull desperate to get their reputation back a bit in a run here to the grand final perhaps, and that is also of course on the minds of Warrington and Leeds. We'll see a repeat of last year's Old Trafford showpiece at 2:30 Sky Sports 3, followed quickly by Saints Hull KR, and that also is winner takes all at 5, same place. Nice kick from Price again behind Jason Crooks. He was looking for Frederick Vakari.
Yeah, it's quick thinking. He's got all the experience, and Leon Price knows all about playoff football, grand finals. The experience certainly telling, but the one thing that's got to be worrying Peter Gentle, the black and white coach, is that the amount of defence that they're having to do, because they're spilling the ball at the home side early in the tackle count, and that means that by the end, especially in the final quarter, he knows they're going to struggle.
Well, 7 wins and 6 defeats from 13 home games this year. They are vulnerable, that means, on their own midden. Let's go down to Bill, meanwhile, for some more injury news.
Yeah, Remy Casti, who came off, I think he was due a breather anyway, but it looked as though he just picked up a bang on the ankle. He is sitting on the sideline, should be able to come back. I'm not so sure about Julian Busquet, who came off, and he's actually got his left arm in a sling underneath cover at the moment. Left arm in a sling and ice on top of that as well, so the big man might not be able to return.
Richard Horne, meanwhile, on the break. Richard Horne goes through one, gets the pass away. It's Holsworth who puts it down. It was a reverse pass from Jamie Shaw that didn't quite come off.
Little bit too overexcitable there, I'm afraid. It was a wonderful little pass by Westerman that sent Richard Horne through a gaping hole. And when the fullback Shaw came back on the angle, it really was not there for the offload. It's been a long time since they've been in this position. Didn't really need it. You could see that the Catalan defence all over the shot.
Well, here come the Dragons now. Keep off the touchline, they were told. Vincent Duport did that. He cut in field, played the ball quickly to Webb. Hitting it at pace was Henderson. He nearly lost his shorts, but here comes Thomas Bosk. Bosk is on the charge. Can he get around the young fullback? No, he can't. Jamie Shaw brings him down. Vakary in a dummy half. Quick play, the ball was what's needed. That's what they got. Here is Leon Price. They spread it wide to Ellimer. Further wide it goes from Ellimer, and Whitehead puts the ball down.
50-50, half poor pass, half man not in the position. They knew they had the overlap, and I'm afraid Whitehead knows that the chance has gone big in. Look at this, Horns away, back on the inside, and this is where the fullback really should have not tried to have got the ball. Should have gone straight, put him in the position. Henderson, what about the offload here? Boss, riding through, and what about the tackle by the young kid Shaw? Bang! Oh, that is top football.
The match is suddenly starting to open up.
It is, and it's for me, it's a game for the mentally tough as opposed to the exceptionally skillful. And if we want to question why both sides have had a conservative kicking game, I think the last two plays from either side is a great example of that. You've got good field position, you've got the ball, and it's turned over, and you come away with absolutely nothing on the scoreboard. This is completion, kick and chase, and be tough when it goes wrong, because it will do at some point. And again, it's the mentally tough that will be able to do that for longer with more resilience that's going to come out on top tonight.
25 minutes gone of the second match of the playoff series 2013, and we await the first points. And here is a little half break. Now then, if you want to know any detail about the grand final, it kicks off at Old Trafford on the 5th of October at 6. The phone number's there and the website. Go to the Super League website, www.superleague.co.uk. Who will be there on the big night?
Good refereeing again by Ben Thaler. It called held, so the ball goes back into it. It's also important that a referee understands the conditions as well. Would you not agree there?
Well, absolutely. I think Ben's let the players get into the game now. You hear him talking a lot through it. It's hardly stopped for infringements and stoppages. So the players will be getting well into it, and I think it will benefit the game as it goes along.
Decent kick from Hull FC brings a scrum with head and feet to the Catalan Dragons, just 12 metres away from the Dragons line. Jacob Miller, the captain of the West's under-20s grand final winning lineup last year in Australia. He got 7 goals from 7 in a 46-6 victory down there.
Well, as you can see, they've taken an age to set this scrum, and that is an indication of the amount of energy that both these sides are putting against each other.
We've got a big centre six coming now from, I think, from Hull FC in defence. And
he's given a knock on here. He's given a knock on.
I didn't see it. Has he given himself up? Good port.
As he goes to play the ball just shoots back through his legs. He doesn't have control over it.
No, he doesn't. And he didn't quite get to his feet either, did he?
No, and I was building to say that at some point, I think the territorial advantage will shift from the Catalan Dragons to Hull FC. We've seen the Black and Whites defend their try line for virtually the first 20 minutes of the game. We've barely seen the Catalan Dragons have had to do the same. This is going to be a real big test, and I think could be a psychological blow if Hull FC can get across the whitewash on this set.
Well, here they come with Jamie Shaw. Jason Crooks was screaming for the pass out wide, and Shaw's been clattered.
Yeah, and I think Shaw, he just slipped at the vital moment. He's not well.
This is Daniel Holdsworth, meanwhile. And he gives the ball to Josh Bowden, who will take the tackle. Here is Danny Houghton. It's Holdsworth again. Now Westerman. And Westerman finds Jacob Miller.
This is where you look towards Danny Houghton. Maybe just throwing the dummy, going on his own.
Gives it to Holdsworth. Holdsworth finds Yeeman. And Yeeman makes a little bit of progress. That's the Catalan goal line. That's what they're aiming for the first try with Ellis. Good defence.
Yeah.
Great defence from Menzies. Got a bang in the schnoz for his Pains as well. Briscoe at dummy half. Feeds it back to Holdsworth. He'll hump it wide, looking for Jason Crooks. Finding Jason Crooks. Crooks keeps it going, but the referee says knock on is the decision.
Boy, scrambling defence there by Leon Price. Looked as though that Richard Horne, well, Peter Gentle realises there's not many opportunities. It was a great take by the winger. Just a touch of the fingers was sufficient.
Where was the knock on here, Stuart?
I think it's there. It's Crooks as he goes to the ground. He loses the ball and he's just knocked forward.
And if it wasn't that, I think Horne just got a slight touch as well, so I think you can perm anyone from two there.
Well, handling errors, it's a low count, to be fair, on a night like this, only 8-5-3.
It's been impressive. The handling has been exceptional. That's good work. He was trying to just pinch an offside penalty there.
When you think of the cup tie they played in July, there were all sorts of complaints about the fact that the hands were sweaty. It was a really, really hot day in July, and it wasn't the best game. But this is a really good contest in completely contrasting conditions tonight.
Certainly is.
Jason Crooks.
Keep hold of it. That'll be the key factor. Peter Gentle, remember, he spilled it last time he did a run from the right-hand side to the left onto that opposite. So important. Just, you spill the ball, cough up possession early. It puts a lot of pressure on your own teammates. Number
23, Lapini Payer is out there for the Catalan Dragons. He's playing his 5th playoff match. He had knee reconstruction surgery during the winter. He missed the opening 9. And if you see him, he's got a massive bandage on the right leg. There he is.
Not the best there by Danny Tickle at a time when they really should have been looking for the kick. Tickle tried to offload deep in his own half. Guess what? Catalan have possession.
And that's probably the first time that Hull have looked to be a little bit adventurous. They've gone off the ruck, maybe just +1 pass. Took a chance, hasn't paid off. Aired again now, so their defence is going to be tested once more, and their resilience, their energy levels must be at sapping point as we speak, and they've got to now go and either back up from a kick here at goal or defend the next set.
Well, he missed with his first, Thomas Bosk. This is further out, but slightly more towards the centre of the field. But it offers Laurent Freyssinu's men the chance of the opening points of the match. And with it being so tight, you can understand after nearly 31 minutes gone why they're taking this option. Bosk, by the way, has played in all of the Catalan Dragons playoff matches since 2008. He got a try and 5 goals in their first win at this stage of the season against Warrington, 46 points to 8. And 5 goals in the Dragons' last win here in Hull in 2008. So an opportunity, what is he, 37 metres out, and to the right-hand side of the uprights. Shocking night for the kickers. But this time, Bosk has managed to find the mark. 2-0 to the Catalan Dragons.
And amazingly, they'll say it's only 2 points, but as you can see with the scoreline and the difficulties in regards to this, well, the rain is just teeming down. Peter Gentle knows they have not had that opportunity, should I say.
There's a massive collision about to happen, I would say, already. Jamal Fakir gets his possession. They put him back there on the baseline. The catch comes to him. Something could just squeeze out here, though. Can he control possession? Look, he had 2 arms around the ball. I think they were obviously aware. Rather than trying to run through them and storm onto it like a double-decker bus, as he very often does, he knows that retaining possession is equally as important as making ground.
Yes, with Lupini Payer, who just played the ball there to Henderson, and Jamal Fakir out there, and this fellow Zeb Taylor, they're pretty big. They are pretty big. He's playing the first knock on, and I think that's by Zeb Taylor. And this is going to be head and feed to the black and whites.
Yeah, it certainly is. I keep saying it, Eddie. Why they go into the thing carrying the ball with the hand, and it's so easy to knock out. Why don't they use the fend?
Richard Whiting so important to this side. Phil mentioned Jamal Fakir. He's famous, of course, because he got the try in the first ever Super League game against Wigan for the Dragons in 2006. Still here, Jamal Fakir, or still there, should I say. Here is Jason Crooks, Daniel Holsworth, now Danny Tickle.
Is this a big play to the left here? All the best sides put this on. Lots of options for the ball players. Turn back inside. That's 3 of 6 gone now. Used very conservatively.
Jeremiah will have a scamper from dummy half, gets a short pass away.
Look forward.
Westerman gets it to Whiting, and he gets it then, and it eventually finds its way out to Crooks. Crooks trying to go around the outside, and Brent Webb to the rescue.
Good position by the fullback, but pretty gentle will be buoyed by that situation. We did notice that, remember that Gentle has thrown out Jeremiah. He can be a real live wire in and around the play the ball area. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a single run from the play the ball, throw the little dummy, just one error in defence, and they'll take advantage.
And the Catalan Dragons might do have a huge tack down there, which means that at some point that size can work against them when the opposition run from dummy half and turn the big men around.
Well, they've taken an eternity in getting this goal line dropout taken, the Dragons. It gets as far as Holsworth, and Holsworth then gives it to Liam Watts, the former Hull Kingston Rovers prop who joined Hull FC just over a year ago. Penalty here for interference. Hands on the ball in the ruck, and is this an opportunity for the black and whites to level the scores?
Well, surely Daniel Holsworth will just say, can it? Oh, it looks like they're going to go for it. Now then, the trainer's on.
No, Danny Tickle has taken control.
But I look for a moment there.
I think with a gentle signal, let's go for 2 as well.
I got the feeling then the players from Hull FC wanted to run that ball. They could feel that they've done it tough for the vast majority of the game so far. They've lost absolutely the battle of field position, and maybe a chance to get the Catalan Dragons on the back foot and just give them a couple of jabs and see whether they can set one.
Paul, do you think they're experiencing a low-scoring game in the Challenge Cup final when they had 4 kickable penalties in the first half and didn't kick? Maybe have influenced the decision here now to kick at goal.
It absolutely could have done, Phil, and I think the Catalan Dragons have decided before they've gone into this game they're going to kick virtually every kickable, potentially kickable attempt at goal. I just think when sides are as equal as this, and you've not had the ball, once you've got a team on the back foot, you get them on the ropes, you know, and you've had a bit of punishment yourself. It's psychologically in your advantage to let them have 1 or 2 and see what they're like.
Well, Lee Radford was the man who sped on with the message from Peter Gentle to take the 2 on offer. And this is Hull's first chance at goal with the boot of Danny Tickle. They've threatened the line a couple of times for tries, as have the Catalan Dragons. But at the moment, it's Bosk's kick that separates the 2 sides. Will Danny Tickle level things up here with his left boot? And the answer is no, he won't.
Well, I'll get the possession on the dropout from the 22, or 20, should I say.
Well, Bosk missed with his first. Let's go straight down to Bill. I think there's some problem with Daniel Holsworth, is the Bill?
No, it's not a problem with Daniel. It might be now after that decision to go for 2 points, because Holsworth was definitely the player who wanted to get on with it, and Lee Radford, in fact, when he went out to them to the field as they were lining up that kick at goal, Tickle, his first stop was Holsworth's shoulder. Just had a word with him, maybe just to explain the thinking behind that decision, but Holsworth may be vindicated there.
Yes, you never know. Hindsight. Great thing. Here's Jacob Miller. Almost opened up for Miller. That was an important tackle from Elliot Whitehead. Here's Aaron Jeremiah now. And Westerman, but the pass in collision reaches Danny Tickle. And they're hounding down the man in possession, both sides. Herremeyer waits, will turn it to the left-hand side to Whiting. Whiting then to Miller again. Shaw and over the top and forward off the fingertips of Yeeman. The referee's blown the whistle. Briscoe's on his way.
It's not the conditions to be able to do a fancy chip on like that. And it was obviously going forward. Knock on, call it whatever you like. Either way, it's the Dragons that will get possession.
2-0. This is the home of Hull City in the Premier League. It's almost a soccer score. They play Cardiff City here tomorrow, from all accounts.
I think Catalan will be quite happy now just to just run that out and try to get into a good opposition, in good position, should I say, so they can get a kick away. They've been put under a lot of pressure. Last 10 minutes has been all black and white.
Here's Fakir. The owner of Hull City, by the way, is thinking of changing the name to the Hull Tigers. Do you remember the time when this team were called the Hull Sharks? This is Jason Crooks, who's hanging on. I think that was in David Lloyd's day, wasn't it, as the chairman here. Holdsworth with a dab over the top, and a chase for Richard Horne! Just couldn't get there. Clatters into the advertising hoardings.
Well, it was always going to be the option, wasn't it? Just skimmed it through.
Ben Thaler thinks it's a 20-metre restart. He's just asking the video referee in Smith to check it didn't touch anybody. And now they're also looking apparently to see if anyone was taken out, Stuart. Is that right?
Well, it's a bit confusing as to whether it's an actual video referee referral, this one. Because I thought Ben had signalled that it was a 20-metre restart, so it should have just been a check for that. But we're obviously looking at it all. They were onside, there's no one in the background, and I think we'll probably find that Ben was correct in his original decision and that nobody actually touches that.
So it should be a tap on the 20.
Should be.
He went pretty close.
Where do you think Brent Webb was diving, Stuart, when he dived for that ball?
I'm not sure. I think he was trying to perhaps block the way of the man coming through. But
if he was, is that legal?
If he obstructs him, he obstructs him. He's not allowed to change his path and get in front of him.
I think it was quite obvious that that Webb was trying to get to the ball in the first instance. They both slid away. I find it hard to believe that Webb would have said, well, I'll try to obstruct Richard Horne. Pretty close, though, wasn't it?
It's a risky play.
And he did. Whatever he was trying to do, he was successful, because it's no try. There is Brent Webb, 5 months out this year. He returned with a try against the Bradford Bulls. That win, their last win on the away soil in August.
You might have just seen in the middle of the field, Aaron Herremeyer is one of the bravest little defenders that plays the game. Threw himself at a big French forward there. He's number 33. He's limped back into the side. I don't think he's got any sensation in either arm at the moment. The left one's hanging down.
Here's the last tackle. Herremeyer is in the defensive line. Having said that, up it goes off the boot of Leon Price.
It's a high one.
Spiralling everywhere. Very well taken. Very well taken by Jamie Shaw.
It's a away.
This kid's got pace to burn. This kid's got pace to burn. And Jamie Shaw will score for the Hull side.
He did that at Wembley, but Charnley got him down. It's not Charnley out there. He wants to check Ben Thaler. He probably wants to check whether there was a hand on the man when he had the ball on the floor. If he has not made any contact, this is a sensational try from a young kid that has taken Super League by storm. You talk about confidence, he takes it. Does he? No, the ball carrying on, there's no one to it.
Stuart,
that should we play on?
What do you think?
Well, it's basically to see whether he's held while he's on the ground. When the arm carrying the ball is on the ground, is somebody hold of him? Is the Catalan player still in contact with him? That's what they need to see.
And did the ball carrying arm hit the ground? That's another question.
Well, that's right. It's when the tackle's complete.
Well, the tackle looks like it wasn't complete, because we're having a complete rerun of this run from Shaw. And you're right, Steve-O, he could have done that at Wembley, but Josh Charnley prevented him. He has done it here in the playoffs, though. Listen to this crowd here with 22 days to go to Old Trafford.